Hey everyone, thanks for coming back for another segment of the MCR. Max is to my left, my name is TJ, and in this segment we're going to talk about the abortion issue. It is such a shame that Proposal 3 passed this previous election. I believe it was used to bring out the Democrat vote of that demographic group.
Well, you might explain what Proposal 3 in Michigan was.
Well, Proposal 3 basically, because of the whole anti-Roe Supreme Court decision, Proposal 3, I don't know how much validity to this, what I'm about to say. All I know is this is the way it was presented. Was Proposal 3 was going to restore the right to an abortion.
Under Roe.
And this channel is pro-choice.
Pro-life.
Pro-life, yeah. Yes. Correction. This channel is pro-life. So we need to be greater defenders. I've come to the conclusion that our spineless response to some of the Democrats' arguments have facilitated the passing of Proposal 3.
Well, there's a couple of reasons I think that happens, and we know people of this ilk, the high routers.
Oh, yeah.
And I've accused them, and they didn't really have a good defense, of being enablers of evil because they don't want to have a fight, or they don't want to be perceived as mean, or they don't want to be perceived as an extremist.
It's my belief, and this segment's going to swerve into religion, and I am hardly the finest example of Christian purity, but
well, let's be clear. We're all sinners. We're all guilty of something. We all sin practically on a daily basis. So
from the perspective of Christian belief, you've got to be, I don't know how you can't be pro-life.
Well, I said that to a woman once. I said, you can't be a Christian and be pro-abortion.
And
she said, but you're a man. That was her answer.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is we need to be greater defenders of this position. We need to beat the drum that at the moment of conception an eternal soul is created. Of course, to the atheist, that wouldn't matter.
No, but they're God deniers. So
so if they're going to be God deniers, then they're going. It makes it easy to believe that at the moment of conception an eternal soul is not created. I also believe that at the moment of conception, upon the creation of an eternal soul, you have the epitome of innocence.
Yes.
Who is going to defend the innocence? That innocence. The epitome of innocence. And Proposal 3 just, with a wave of the hand, it doesn't matter that it's an unborn child. It's all about the woman's right. It's all about the woman's right. Yeah. And how dare you try to take away that right from any woman?
Well, I mentioned in previous videos that I could hardly stand watching YouTube anymore, and I had to take about a 5-day hiatus from it because I just could not stand the lies that were being told about Tudor Dixon and the election. They were clearly edited for the...
they made her out to be the devil.
Right, yeah. And because she's stringently pro-life.
Admirably so.
Admirably so. And, she lost because of it, I do believe. I do believe that was if you look at the shenanigans that Gretchen Whitmer's pulled in this state, she had to be struck down by the Supreme Court to stop her from doing a lot of what she did. And even then, she did it anyway. And they're gutless people on the court. And it was a conservative court at that point. They didn't have the cojones to file a contempt of court charge against her when she clearly was in contempt of court, and as much as said so.
Well, and this goes to one of our complaints with the Republican establishment here in Michigan. Just an all-out lack of courage.
Yep.
Okay? And lack of courage with standing up to the Democrat machine, lack of courage of calling out injustices, lack of courage for the defense of the innocents.
Right.
You know, the epitome of innocence. You can't, you know, man is born with a sinful nature, but you know, at the moment of conception, you've got that thing couldn't be more innocent.
Some things are just wrong. For
Yeah.
instance, you go back to the 50s when blacks couldn't eat at a lunch counter. That's wrong.
And one of the by the book fallback positions is, well, what about rape and incest?
Right.
And that is, well, that's the result of man's sinfulness. Mm-hmm. But you don't take it out on an innocent third party.
If you want to give the death penalty to someone for rape and incest, give it to the adult in the incest or situation, and give the death penalty to the rapist. You don't give the byproduct of the crime the death penalty.
Yeah, you know.
It is that simple for me.
And I, you know, I know the man haters are out there going to say, oh, you know, it's all about denying women their rights.
Yeah.
And yet at the same
Like
time,
deniers.
no one is defending the right of the innocent.
No.
And it's my belief, and that's the message I'm trying to pound home in this segment, is we need to be better defenders, greater defenders.
Absolutely. And I'll give you, this is one of the, they call them unintended consequences, but I don't believe they were. It was. When you go to get your, if you're 40 years old and you go to collect Social Security, it's not going to be there because Social Security has always been a pyramid scheme. So you rely on the next guy to pay your bill. Well, that next guy got aborted. You killed the next guy who was going to take care of you. Do you not understand that? A whole generation, what is it, how many have been aborted? 50 million? 50 million? That makes the Holocaust look like a picnic. It's not worse than what Chairman Mao did. It's not worse than what Stalin did. It's a genocide on the innocent.
Yeah, and I know your typical run-of-the-mill man hater is going to.
There's a word for that, by the way.
What? I'm going to live with that assault because I'm going to be a defender of the innocent.
Well, you know, you bring up a man hater. Man, how many times in your life or in last 10 years has the word misogyny? Oh, he's a misogynist.
Yeah.
Well, there's an opposite to a misogynist. Do you know what it's called?
Enlighten me.
Misandry. It's the hatred of men because they are men. And I think it's because of envy and jealousy. You know, you have certain gifts, I have certain gifts. LeBron James has a certain gift. It would be like you and I hating LeBron James because he can play basketball and we can't. Well, we can play basketball, but
we just need to be do not shirk away from the defense. I guess what I'm saying is we've got to take a stand, and that's all.
Well, I saw the celebration of Roe v. Wade being overturned, and my first concern, of course, I was delighted with that decision because it's the correct decision, because Roe versus Wade was based on law that doesn't exist. I think their argument was the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment is about illegal searches and seizures. It's not about privacy. It's never been about privacy. You don't have any right to privacy in the Constitution, and that's what the ruling said. That's why it was overturned. It was bad law. It was already bad law. It's always been bad law, and it was written by activist judges.
Okay. I've said my piece.
Yeah, I've ranted probably not as much as I could because this could be hours long. This
whole segment was intended to advocate advocacy.
You've got to do something.
Yeah.
You can't stop. Oh, how long did we wait? 50 years for Roe v. Wade to get overturned? And now what's happened? Well, it's always been a states' rights issue, and the people in Michigan have decided they can't kill enough babies. Women in this state want to kill their baby. Their lust for power is so great, in my opinion, that they'll kill an innocent person so they can feel better about themselves and be a horse.
And
like
I wish I'd said this earlier, but I've always felt abortion was the ultimate act of selfishness.
It is, absolutely.
Just
it's being used as birth control. Let's just put it out there.
Ultimate act of selfishness. And I'm very disappointed I didn't say that at the beginning of this segment.
Yeah.
So, in any event, that's it. We've ranted. And we'll catch you in the next one. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.